Hello, it's T, and I'm really excited to be talking with you today about it's not my problem. I'm really enjoying, can you tell, naming some of these episodes with that little tongue in cheek humor of mine. So, yes, not my problem. And the play on words here is that it is not, when I say my, I mean you, right? I mean us as the parent, not my problem. It's not my problem to dictate the solution, to own completely, to be in complete control of. Whatever the situation is that's in front of you with your child, it can be more of a shared experience. And so I am going to share with you two positive discipline tools. I have the tool cards right here, and we'll get to those. But before I even get to those, I'd like to share with you just I'm going to make it a little generic. The details are not the important thing here, but an experience that I had with my son very, very recently. So we were engaged in a conversation about something that I wanted to talk about, but he didn't necessarily want to be talking about. And things were going okay. And then he started to get upset and he started to get up to walk away. And I said, "Hey, wait a minute. Like, where are you going?" And in my mind, I'm thinking, he just, if he doesn't like something, he's cutting and running. And that's not great. That's not what I want to be teaching, right? That's not what any of us want to be teaching. And he said, "Well, I'm really angry right now." And so I stayed on my track of you don't cut and run. And I said, "Well, every time something doesn't seem to go your way, are you just going to be able to get up and walk away? That's not life." And he looked at me and really pretty calmly said, "I understand that. And when I'm really angry, I don't actually think that I'm going to be productive having a conversation. That's why I'm getting up." And I just really received his words and his sentiment. And I was like, that's like what I teach. That's brain in the palm of your hand. That's positive timeout. That's everything. And I was like, oh, I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. It's not the time when we're really angry." And so it was just, I share that with you around this whole it's not my problem, because so often we are our own worst enemies. Obviously, I'm saying we, myself included here, we're our own worst enemies with how we think things are going to go, or when he got up, how I thought things were playing out in front of my face, but it was really the story I was telling myself versus what I was observing. It wasn't a fact that he was cutting and running. No, it wasn't until I gave him an opportunity to speak and opened up enough to hear his words and really receive them. And so with that, it's coming, right? Let's all take a couple of deep breaths. You know where you are, you know what you can do. You can close your eyes, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Close your eyes or not, hands in prayer position in front of your heart or on your legs or on the steering wheel. I have one hand on my belly and one hand on my heart. Just rolling back my shoulders too, just to soften the body. So often we hold tension in our shoulders. Soften a little bit, just a little bit, and allow something else to come through. Like in that moment when I allowed his message to actually be received instead of plowing through with what I thought was happening. So good. So, not my problem. So, I'm going to talk about problem solving and bringing a focus on connection to problem solving as opposed to, I know this is what needs to be done, follow the recipe. I've done this a million times before. It's a different energy. It's an energy of, all right, let's sit down and solve this. So the first positive discipline tool card I'm going to address here is called problem solving. Surprise. And it says use daily challenges as opportunities to practice problem solving with your children, not solving it for them, not telling them, not doing something to them, but solving it with them. With is a very connective word, joins. We are partners in this. We're doing it together with one another. So, again, from the card, number one, brainstorm for solutions. And you can brainstorm for solutions if you're sitting like I was with my son, just the two of us. Or if you're in a family meeting, this could be something that you do in a family meeting as well, just with a problem solving uh, set of steps, methodology here to brainstorm first. And when we're brainstorming, we're not editing. We're not editing ourselves. We're not saying, yeah, but that will never work. We're just throwing it out there. Throw it out, throw it out, throw it out, write it down, throw it out to be written down, right? I'm not saying like throw it out, like toss it in the trash, but get it out there, get all the ideas out there. Awesome. Number two, ask curiosity questions to invite your child to explore solutions. So now that will be different depending on the situation at hand, the problem that you're looking to solve. But an example could be if your child is fighting with someone, whether it's a friend or a sibling or what have you, could be, and you wouldn't necessarily have done brainstorming before you ask this question, but could be, can you two figure this out together or would you like some help? I like that phraseology. Would you like some help? Because it doesn't imply weakness. Do you need help? Implies a little like you can't do it. But if it would be easier, better, good in the moment to accept some help, would you like some help? Great. And there's another example on this card that says for chores, brainstorm what needs to be done and invite your kids to create a plan. Be willing to try their plan for a week. And I love that. Some, depending on the number of children you have, depending on the ages of children, it can work to have them create the plan. If you have one older who can, maybe guide the younger, support, whatever, or you could be that guide and support. You can still be involved, but you can go from brainstorming to figuring out what might work, which idea might work better than another, and maybe we can combine some of these or whatever. Maybe we can do something different on the weekends versus the weekdays, according to what the situation is. So the second card that I have here is called Focus on Solutions. And it's very much like problem solving. This is something that can be done outside of a family meeting or inside of a family meeting. And it's really about, there's the connection focus for sure. There's also something about sharing the control, sharing the reins here. It's not all coming from you. So instead of focusing on blame or focusing on the problem or focusing on whose fault something might be. We focus on solutions and ways to address the situation either in the moment or in the future going forward if it's something that might come up again. So I'll read the steps here under focus on solutions. Number one, you've identified a problem. So that's the first step. Number two, again, brainstorming, be nice and creative and inclusive and connective. Brainstorm as many solutions as possible. Pick one that works for everyone. Now, it might not be everyone's first choice, but it's something that everyone who is involved can live with, that will meet some set of minimum requirements so that they can agree to live with it for a week. To bind it in time, it should be for 1 week that you try that particular solution. And then after a week's time, and if you're doing this at family meeting and you have a family meeting every week, then that's kind of the trigger and you don't need to do anything special. If it's not at family meeting, then you may want to write it in your calendar. I use Google Calendar. It's both on my phone and on my computer so that it's in sync all the time. And I will oftentimes put a little trigger in my calendar to say, follow up on X situation with Y person, to remind me, because I am honest enough with myself to know that it's just not going to happen without a reminder, a trigger. And also in my Google Calendar, I have automatic reminders set up for 30 minutes before I need to be anywhere. I'm getting a reminder that comes up on my phone. So 30 minutes before I would need to follow up on how's that solution working, I'd be getting a reminder, and then it's coming up in a nice flash. So, and if it isn't working out so well, then you can go back to the beginning of the process. You can brainstorm a little bit more. You can discuss why it didn't work out. Maybe some parts of it did, but then there was one key piece, and that's the only piece that needs to be addressed. So if it didn't work out, you can kind of keep on. And I just want to say here that a lot of times we will think that something is all or nothing. And so if we've solved it, it should be solved not just for a week, but for all time. And if it's not, then there's something wrong. And maybe there's something wrong with us and we didn't do it right, or we didn't bring the right energy, or we didn't. No, big fat no. I want to say no to all of that. Okay. It's great if you come up with a solution, even if you quote know that it won't work for a whole week. I mean, really, do you know that for sure? Absolutely, positively, for sure. No, you don't. I don't. Sometimes I think I do. Like I thought I knew why my son got up. I didn't know. So just soften a little bit, and maybe you're right. And it'll still be a nice learning opportunity, right? And it will be another opportunity to come back and practice that focusing on solutions together. And it's about their ownership, right? They're receiving this opportunity to learn how to address a problem and solve a problem and be connected with you and sharing control. It's a wonderful opportunity that you're giving them when you allow them and you involve them in the process of problem solving with you and focusing on solutions. So let me know what your experience with this is. Let me know what questions or challenges maybe you have for me. Always open to hearing any and all of your comments and feedback, either in Facebook or through email at support@relationalparents.org. Okay, until next time, sending love. Bye for now.